I actually was trying to study to become a dominatrix.
Ooh.
Yes. My husband would not allow that. No. He'd be like, absolutely not.
Wait, let's hear it. What is it?
It's boosted, bitch.
What's up, guys? It's Mer. She's okay. She's okay. Hey, guys.
All right, we are back today, and we have a special guest. I brought my neighbor, Kris, and she is definitely interesting if she's able to keep up with Boosted and deal with me as her neighbor. And she has some stories for us. We have a lot to go over, and this is going to be a special episode. We're going to be talking about 9/11 a little bit, but before we get into crazy things, we need a shot because she's a little nervous.
Yes.
So welcome, Kris, on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming to She's All Cap.
Salute.
Cheers.
Yes.
Woo!
That was good.
Ooh. Testing new things out over there.
Oh my god. So Kris, introduce yourself. What do you do? Who you are?
Oh, that's a complicated question. But I work currently for a nonprofit in Allentown. I've been working in nonprofits now for the last about 10, 11, 12 years perhaps. Prior to that, I worked in the corporate sector down on Wall Street for about 11 years for a large insurance company. And I'm in Bethlehem now. I was born and raised in New York City. Wow. Manhattan, Lower East Side, Alphabet City. It was considered East Village, very artsy.
I love East Village. That's where I go get my tattoos done.
Do you? That's where I'm from. Yeah,
I love it over there.
Yeah, it's cool vibe. Very artistic, and you have a mixed bag. So it's just like the melting pot. Truly,
Yeah.
New York City is the melting pot. So
When did you move over here?
I moved here in 2013. But I came from Maryland. I was living out there for a little bit. And I didn't want to go back to New York. And so my family had been coming to Eastern Pennsylvania for over 25 years. And so they're like, just come here. And I moved out here and life had completely changed. I met my husband. Yeah, we make 5 years. Well, we've made 5 years married.
Ooh, congratulations.
Thank you. And so, that's me in a little nutshell right now. But we just currently working on stuff on the house. We purchased a home, and that's been taking up a lot of time.
Yeah.
And I am Sam's neighbor.
I kept calling her neighbor, and she was like, "What?" I was like, "Neighbor." So
Yeah, facts.
I love it.
Yeah,
The
I love it
names.
too. The names.
There's a chance we have met before, but I personally don't remember.
Yeah, I want to say your housewarming party. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty wild.
Yeah.
They're so cool. They came to Boosted's housewarming party. I really respect you guys.
I'm glad
I love.
for having us, though. You know
Yes.
what I mean?
I'm glad that you guys are my neighbors. I was so scared moving into somebody that was gonna be who is this girl moving in? And I didn't know if you knew about OnlyFans and social media. So I was like, oh no, what are they gonna think of me?
I'm very limited. I try not to do too much social media, but I respect the hustle and I respect it. You know what I mean? It's who you are, and it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Just be a good person. I don't care. I treat everyone equally. It doesn't matter the stature or what you do in life. You know what I mean? Just be a good person, and I would treat you accordingly. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you mad cool as fuck. So.
Did you have a stigma before meeting me by influencers or OnlyFans or anything like that?
I didn't know anything. So I know, because we had just bought the house a little before you. We purchased it in March or something of 2020, the beginning of the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And so we noticed that it was a lot of construction happening and wondering who, and I think I saw you, but I'm like, oh, it must have been her daughter. In my mind, it was a mom and a daughter or whatever, because I had met the previous owner of the home. Mm-hmm. And so I had no idea, but I'm very savvy. So you go through the county records to see.
Oh, look at you.
I mean, I took an aptitude test and they said I should have been an FBI agent. So I don't know.
Whoa, you were just saying
Hey, we should have worked together.
You know what I mean? Hey, you could know where to find me, obviously. Right. And I'm like, okay, that's our neighbor. But I have no prejudgments because honestly, I've come from a very hard walk of life, right? I grew up in the Lower East Side, which is prominently projects, right? I've seen everything, and who am I to judge? It's not my place to judge anybody, you know.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. Just do you.
Yeah.
And now you're raising kids here?
My kids are kind of raised already.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
28, and my daughter just graduated high school this year, so
That's awesome.
she's 18, and we do have 2 more. My stepdaughter graduated as well this year, and then we have my stepson, he'll be 16. So we're almost there. We're almost done.
You have a lot. I feel like I don't even want any. For me, I'm
I
like,
don't
oh my
blame you.
God, that's a lot to handle.
It is. I mean, but we're a blended family. You know, my husband and I don't have children together, but you know that's okay because we want to enjoy each other. You know, we're at that point in in our ages where we just want to focus on our next chapter of what that may look like. You know, yeah.
So how was it growing up in New York in Lower East Side compared to Bethlehem?
Oh, totally different.
Like, what is I know, but
it's city life. So, I don't know how to ride a bike. Okay, so
we're about to teach you.
You wouldn't have to put me in bubble wrap and like a helmet. But things like that. You know what I mean? Like, I did get exposure going to my summers in Puerto Rico because I am Puerto Rican. So in the summer months, we would go to Puerto Rico for the summer, and that was like my exposure of like nature and being outdoors. Because growing up in the projects, you're not gonna let your kid I came from a very conservative family, so going out was not really permitted unless you had supervision. So even though I lived in that environment, I was kind of sheltered from it just because there was so many rules and restrictions that didn't allow me the exposure to what was happening around us. And of course, as you get older, you see what's happening.
Right.
But the only there's nothing really special besides the fact that you may have a lot more opportunities to do and be anything you want in New York City, right? As opposed to a small town. But I appreciate the small town environment. It's less chaotic. And the fact that I suffer from anxiety, I'd rather have a little low key as opposed to the hustle and bustle.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like every episode, I swear, I hope everybody realizes this. Everybody has anxiety, so it's okay to
no. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm okay with my mental health issues. I know what triggers me, and I know, you know what I mean? And I think everybody should work on that because everybody has triggers, right? And it's just managing what triggers you and how you respond. Or, for me, it was more like me leaving New York City was because of the anxiety and the pressure of the city. And I learned how to drive very late in life, right? I didn't get to my license until 28 or 29.
Wow.
Well, you don't need a car in New York, right?
True.
Would you walk or take the train?
Oh,
usually?
my legs were killer in 4-each heels. I would walk everywhere with massive heels. Now they're jelly because I've been here too long. But I lost my train of thought. I'm like, where the hell am I?
No. Do you like Bethlehem, or would you ever go back to New York?
No, we definitely wouldn't go back to New York. I think our plan is to head further south. My husband and I's goal is right now for retirement. Our ultimate goal is to head down to live in Costa Rica.
Ooh.
That is our dream. I don't mind having an Airbnb. I become a certified scuba diver. What I mean?
Yes.
Things like that. Or whatever. Just anything close to the water. And maybe some mountains. Depends, because you can't be close to water and mountains at the same damn time. I've realized.
I love them both too. I always go down to I don't like to say the name on here.
Okay.
But down by the creek. And I love that little park and going on walks there. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
But we don't. That's why I love Pennsylvania, because you get the nature. You can go an hour and a half to the beach. You can go to an hour and a half to New York City. Still, you can go visit your family.
Or Philly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever get out? I feel like this weekend I saw you came back from a bachelorette party.
I did.
Are you a wild one? Are you always doing this type of stuff?
Not at all. Definitely not. My life has been very mundane, just because of, again, my husband and I just stay working on, our main focus is this house, right? This house is hopefully going to be our setup for us to continue to go down south, and so And it's only him and I working on it. So it takes a lot of time and energy. And so, you know, we have not really had a chance to really get away because that's been our sole focus. But this bachelorette party did allow me some time to
Have some wild nights out.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I love and respect my husband, so therefore I behave myself. But very interesting weekends.
I've never been on one, and
A bachelorette?
Me
never.
either.
No?
No.
So we're gonna just have to make up a bachelorette party.
Yes.
Actually,
That's
good
a
for
good
content.
idea.
The name.
You know what I mean?
She about to be my content creator.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, would you ever do OnlyFans?
Who, me?
Yeah.
If I was not married, okay.
Okay.
So this is funny because before I met my husband, I was single for 4 years and celibate for 2, right? Because I did a 16-year long stint, and it's like jail time. But and then I realized that maybe I really didn't want to be with anyone, or I didn't think marriage because I never had been married. I actually was trying to study to become a dominatrix. Yes. My husband would not allow that. No. He'd be like, absolutely not. But that was a thought. I was looking at trainings in New York City. They have trainings that you pay courses for. And I had some books that I was studying. And then, of course, that shit went out the window once I met my husband. So,
I swear I always got that vibe for you. I'm not even lying.
Yeah, I do. I kind of have that.
Yeah.
Do you want me to slap you and punch your balls? Not a problem.
Yep.
And you pay me?
You should do it.
Oh, yeah.
Most people think I'm the dominant person. Everyone thinks I'm like super dom.
I would say yes.
I am not in bed, like not in any way, like nothing like that. Like I get people like pay me to do that type of shit. They're like, yeah, like pretend to whip me, and I'm like, ha, you like that? Like I literally, like I'm not gonna.
But that makes sense because you are this strong persona, like this strong you, and then so that's your more intimate side.
Yeah.
So yeah, you may be more submissive. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I'm too
cool.
scared. I'm so weird. I'm like, finally somebody take care of me.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm always.
Yeah, that's right.
That's how I am too. I always want to take care of other people first.
What? So you said no, you wouldn't do OnlyFans.
No,
then,
I
right?
wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't.
Do you have any plans other than the job you have now? Do you have any? Would you like to own a business one day or anything that you aspire?
If I could refinish furniture and design and paint as a career, that would be my ideal. I would love to get to that point, but God only knows what happens from here.
What is your sign?
That's a complicated question, right? Because there are more than one sign.
Me too. You're a cusp.
No.
Oh.
Well, you have to follow your sun, moon, and your ascendant. That makes a person, their characteristics. So I'm an Aries, Pisces, Cancer.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I could be very intuitive at times without even trying. And then when I want to be intuitive, it doesn't work.
Nice.
That's awesome. Do you feel like you follow all of what character traits do you follow under best for each of the signs?
I think in my younger days, I was very fiery. So yes, I did have my Aries wild side. But now as I'm getting older, I see the water elements coming through a lot more. So I would say the Cancer and the Pisces with a little bit of the Aries,
Yeah, well, especially if you want to live on an island and stuff like that, the water probably brings out your emotion even more and balances you.
I usually find solitude at the beach. I remember I would go alone and I could just be there for hours and just feel cleansed by the sound and the waves and the water and the sands and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I like to go to the beach by myself and write in my journal as I'm just listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do that a lot.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
I need
it's
more
very
me
peaceful. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely do.
I swear to God. After this trip, I swear to God, I'm about to. Last night, I was so annoyed. I almost booked a hotel room. I'm not lying.
Where to?
What?
I didn't give a fuck if it was Comfort Inn or anything. I wanted to get the fuck away. I'm used to a bunch of girls at once and content and everything, but sometimes it gets overwhelming and I feel like I'm doing so much. I'm so burnt out right now. And then of course I do this. I was like, I need to get the fuck away.
I don't blame you.
Oh my God.
So I had a question for you. Sammy was telling me a little something about a nickname you might have.
Which nickname is that?
I don't know. Do you have any nicknames? I might have asked Jeremiah something.
Oh, you have?
And you guys used to play a game called Risk?
Oh, I'm Warlord K.
Yes,
Warlord
that's
K.
it. That's it. Tell us
Oh
about
my
that.
Oh my gosh. So we are all super competitive, and I'm at see Jeremiah. And, we usually have a game night, and risk game is like, it could last up to 3-4 days sometimes. And
How?
because it's basically the continent, right? And you have to take over. You got to take over the world pretty much. And so you're battling and you're fighting with, men or whatever, and rolling of the dice. And it could take a very long time.
Oh.
Yeah. So we haven't done that because we started playing this other game on the phone, which you work as a team as opposed as against each other. But
Yeah, he was saying that it like bonded you guys together. He
Yeah.
said that was like a big thing for him, that he really liked that game. And he said that you weren't good at it at first and somehow you're like winning or something.
Yeah,
I don't know how
surpassed
that goes.
him. I surpassed him.
Ooh,
yeah.
you snuck up on him.
But that's because I'm competitive. So I'm trying to surpass my husband now. That's my next goal. I'm close, but not close enough.
Were
That's
you guys always close, like as you were raising them and everything?
Well, Jeremiah, I had him very young, and basically it was just him and I, with a little bit of support system, not much, but yeah, Jeremiah and I were extremely close. Like we'll play video games together. I mean, I was 16, so I was basically growing up with him.
Yeah.
But I did have the tools. Because I helped raise my 2 younger cousins. So I've been raising people since I was 8. I'm all kind of done. You know what I mean? Like, can I have some me time now?
Yeah.
But yeah, Jeremiah and I, he was a spoiled brat.
Was he?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it still shows. But yeah, he, for a long time, it was just him and I. And I ended up becoming pregnant with Gia when he was 10. And that was kind of difficult for him as well to accept another sibling. And the fact that she was a girl, it's hard to relate with the age gap and,
And jealousy.
yeah. Oh, very, very, yeah. Especially since you were spoiled and, you had me to yourself. So, yeah.
Did he help you raise her and stuff?
He tried, but honestly, it was just hard for them to, like, it's now they get along. They couldn't stand each other for a while.
That's always it is. Like, I swear. Me and my brother fought all the time.
And it's a big age gap, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, 3 years. me and
that's
my
not that
brother.
bad.
2.5 actually, but it was still huge, and I was spoiled as well because the first one, you know,
Yeah.
they were really strict on me, but the second one usually you're like less strict.
Yeah.
Correct?
Oh, that is true.
Well, I'm the second. I feel like my parents were definitely easiest with my younger brother. Like, he's the baby.
Well, he's the third?
But,
Yeah,
but my
definitely.
sister, I feel like they always say, like, I'm the wild child. I'm the middle.
Well, there is this, thing with middle children.
What is it? I'll tell you if it's true or not.
Well, because you figure the first has like the most attention, right? Because it's the first child, right? And then the second one comes, and the second one is okay, but the third one kind of is the baby. So the middle child kind of gets stuck in a limbo a little bit. You know what I mean? So like middle child syndrome or something.
They do say that.
I know.
Because you get the strictness, but you also get the carefreeness of, oh, it will be okay if she does this or they do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know it's a touchy subject, so I want to get into it.
Gonna
So
ease into that.
I know you said that you worked on Wall Street. And where did you work at the time? Were you there for 9/11? How did this happen?
Yeah.
I know you told me you were a 9/11 survivor, but I didn't know the extent.
Okay. So I'm going to try to walk through that day, what that looked like for us, okay? Well, for me. But that weekend, we just arrived from Disney, Jeremiah and I. And I was meeting his father because we had picked up a trinket for him from the trip. And she was making a delivery, and it was on Gold Street. It's a side street in downtown, and make the exchange, and it sounded like a large transformer explosion or something, right? Because when you're on that street, it's so narrow, you can't see the skyline because you're smacked in between buildings. So technically, I didn't know the first plane hit at this point in time, and so. We part ways. I'm like, I have to get to the office now. And I'm walking down on Pearl Street. And I get to a corner where there's a bank, and this woman comes up to me, and I could see like the frantic a little bit of going around, but I'm thinking, oh, something kind of exploded, and that's probably what's happening. And I remember her asking me for my cell phone, and I'm looking perplexed. I'm like, I'm not gonna give you my cell phone. And she was like, I just want to let my husband know I made it out okay. And I'm like, oh, okay, from the explosion. She goes, no, a plane crashed into the World Trade Center. Wow. And I remember handing her my phone, and she made the call, and I hustled to the office. I worked on the corner of Wall Street and Pearl. That building is not as tall as compared to the other buildings that the organization, the company owned. So I was on the 16th floor. I remember, making my way up there. And at that time, I worked with a lot of architects, interior designers, and like real estate people for an insurance company. And so I remember sitting at my desk, putting on the news, seeing like what's happening, right? And, everybody just thought it was an accident, this plane just crashed.
How much time was this between?
That's hard to tell because there is no time frame. I can't even tell you what time I left the building, because that for me was a critical moment trying to get out, because the school would not allow anyone to pick up my son. And at that time, he's about 8 years old. And the fact that you have to wait for me to get out, and, because I called one of my sisters, and when I say sister, she's basically one of my best friends since 16, 17 years, like 17-year-old
family.
Yeah, basically. And, I remember asking her, can you pick him up? And she was like, absolutely. So when I called the school, letting them know that she was going to get him, they're like, we're sorry, we're not going to release him to anyone. And I understand. I get it, because a lot of things can happen. Some snatching kids, and, but at that time I didn't. I was really upset. You know what I mean?
You're frantic too.
Yeah. And the fact that he could see it from his school, he could see everything that's happening, because his school was alongside the Williamsburg Bridge, which is its direct view kind of to the World Trade Center. But I remember just being on the computer and trying to figure out what's happening, and then that's when the second one hit. And then it was like, oh, this is something more. You know what I mean? This is not an accident. This is intentional. It was so stressful. I'm a smoker, so it was so stressful that I actually went into the woman's bathroom, to have a cigarette. But by that time, the buildings had fell. So it was like pitch black. You know what I mean? Like the tremor in the building was rather scary. But a lot of the stuff that happened that day, I did not realize the trauma until like years later. Like everything was always in hindsight of the like being a little paranoid, and working downtown was rather hard. And I stayed a long time because I started when I was 19. I started working with them when I was 19 years old. And I had no skills, basically. I kind of taught myself. Every time I would move from assignment to assignment for the company, I would print out like Word and Excel, and I would teach myself a lot of things. But starting off as a receptionist, I ended up being a contract administrator. You know what I mean? Like it allowed me the opportunity to grow.
Right.
But it was kind of bittersweet when I was let go, because I kind of wanted that. I even told my manager at that time they were paying for I was going to NYU. They were paying for my studies to become a project manager, right? And I remember when they were starting to do the waves of layoffs, he was
Is
like,
this after the event?
this is after the event. I was
So
trying
they were
to,
laying off everybody?
in 2008 because of the market crash.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's the part I feel like a lot of people forget. Like I always forget about that.
yeah, when the market crashed, well, the company I worked for was rather large, and they're worldwide. So the government had to bail them out because they knew that if they were to go under, it would have a ripple effect throughout the globe,
Yeah.
And so, I understand, but at the same time, the greed of, people were getting bonuses before, it was just like, the pros and cons. And hence why after that, I kind of focused on nonprofits. And I think the nonprofit stuff of me helping people comes from witnessing my grandmother be a missionary for over 45, 50 years. She's done that. She would go every Christmas to third world countries and do Christmas for them. Well, everybody donates gifts and cooks for the people that she goes service. And another holiday for her was Mother's Day. She would go out there and do things for moms throughout throughout like Ecuador, Haiti, so I grew up with a lot of that influence.
That's amazing.
Yeah, hence why I kind of, after the corporate sector, I was like, I can't do that. I want to be able to do something, even though I don't get paid as well, but I want to see my work, the thing, help somebody else, Yeah.
You want more of like the rewarding than the dollar sign.
Yeah.
Jesus. So we didn't get to did you have to, sorry to ask if it's
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Did you have to run down the stairs
No.
or any of that? 'Cause
no.
that would have been super traumatizing.
No. So, as I was waiting for the dust to settle, because it was like pitch black, you could not see your hands in front of your face.
Even inside your building?
No, inside the building I was fine.
Okay.
But me thinking about making my way down to walk, 'cause I could actually walk home from where I worked, which I usually constantly enjoyed, because I could walk down Chinatown and pick up whatever as I'm making my way home. But it was just a matter of I remember getting a food container, right, and stuffing wet towels in there, so I could cover my mouth as I'm trying to get out of it. But by that time, it was still grayish outside. By the time I got him, I was definitely covered in debris. It was kind of surreal a little bit. Yeah.
I feel like too, even having that anxiety and that rush and just being frantic, you're already not breathing the same, and then to go and have to go get him and breathing that in,
Yeah, our area of where I lived was considered ground zero for a long time. So at one point in time, there was no food deliveries, there was no milk deliveries. You had to go to 23rd Street to get anything, milk, whatever you needed. There was no trucks getting passed down 14th Street. So it really felt like ground zero. And the department I worked for, we managed all the properties we owned downtown. So our crew had to come in, make sure all the structures of the building were okay for staff to come back. And so I had to go, after, people weren't allowed, but my department, we had to go in and do shifts. It was the command center. So when they said that people would come back to the area, they could. But even after that, it was really an unhealthy environment. So, people try to get back to the sense of normalcy. But when you go out to lunch and you have a bomb threat every day, and you see men in full gear and automatic weapons, 'cause I worked on Wall Street, so you have the financial district there, and the military presence was very strong. It kind of took away my sense of reality of what safety or security kind of looked like. You know what I mean? Of what your mundane looks like, and it's it could be shaken up at any moment without you realizing that it's happening. You know what I mean? But it's something that I still work with. I'm an avid for therapy. I love therapy. I love my therapist. I love that she gets paid to listen to me and help me work through my shit. And she's very good. You know what I mean? Actually, she's doing our therapy to everybody in the house except for Jeremiah. He might need that.
Does he say that he's too good? He doesn't need it?
Oh no, he doesn't.
Okay.
I think he does. But I think therapy is something that has to happen within, right?
Yeah.
You need to want it. You need to want to have, heal the broken parts of you, or not even necessarily heal them, but understand them. You know what I mean? And it takes a lot of work, and it's not hard, and it's not easy. And some people just want to numb it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's easier. And don't get me wrong, I'll smoke my weed to help me through the process.
Yeah.
Do you feel at first you numbed it, or have you ever do you feel you ever blacked it out?
Yes, I definitely have. And that's some of the the therapy work has pulled those little corners that I've tried to shove in a corner and not face and realize, and how it alters you, how it alters your way of, opening up to people, because you become closed off. You know what I mean? Like, if you ask my husband, he says I'm cold as ice. You know what I mean? I don't mean to be, because inside I'm mush pretty much.
Yeah.
But that is my defense mechanism. You know what I mean? Like that, like I got this, even though inside I'm like tear apart.
Oh. Did you start to go to therapy right away, or did it take you some time to go?
No, it took me a while. Because again, you don't know and you can't see. It's basically when time has passed and you have been exposed and you realize, oh, this didn't work out the way I wanted to, or that didn't go as planned. And then you're like, oh, why is that? And then you realize, okay, I have this issue, I have that issue. And people like to poke and show you your flaws. And in a way, that's not a bad thing. It's how you work past that to realize that basically that's something I have to work on. Mm-hmm. And why is it that I have to work on it? Why is it that I'm that way? Or, because everything has a stem to it, we react to things the way we do because of X, Y, and Z,
Some people just take a long time to realize why. They don't know what their triggers are. They don't know that. I know I've grown up a little bit, and then you figure it out later on in life, which sucks, because then...
Well, that's life, though, right?
Yeah.
Because life is basically a learning process. Yeah. So yeah, it takes a lot of work, and it takes a strong person to want to look at yourself and be like, hey, this is wrong with me. You know what I mean? And I am trying to work on it, but love me anyway.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You have to want help and you want to grow.
Yeah.
What would be some advice for us if you wanted to give us advice? I feel like you've been through a lot of shit.
Oh, I have. Live life, enjoy it. Yeah. Because I both admire what you do. Nice. Like, I'm kind of like, I wish, like, my alter ego is basically Sam.
You should do it. You should be a dominatrix for Halloween.
Yeah, babe.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Let's see if my husband allows it. Again, I love and respect him, so, you know what I mean? Like,
oh, my God. I love you guys.
But that would be great.
I know.
I could tame him.
I would die to see that. I'll pay for this.
Yes. I'm going to have to OnlyFans, like, wouldn't be like OnlyFans for you, just for Sam.
Just for me.
Just for Sam.
Hang it up downstairs.
Yeah.
I know. Does your... husband, does he support everything you do? Everything? You guys are very supportive. Have you guys gone through any tough times or anything like that?
No, we are very supportive of each other, and we work as a team. We are great. I'm just sad that it took me so long to find him. You know what I mean? I'm gonna cry. I don't want to cry, but I mean, we all do, because again, I'm like this crab, right? My sign is crab. I'm like this hard, and he's like, you're like a mystery box, and he wants to know the essence of me, right? And if I keep on locking it away, it makes it hard.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter what we go through, we are strong together, and we seem to find a way, because we love each other, and and again, it takes teamwork, and it takes two people wanting to be with each other, for the ride. Yeah. Yeah.
Ride or die.
I inspire to be you. I first never believed in marriage, and now I'm in this relationship. Remember, I came in here single, and I was like, fuck everyone.
Exactly.
So I believe in love now, and hopefully marriage. But I'm really scared because of divorce and everything. Did you ever have to deal with a divorce, or?
No, this is my first marriage.
Oh, okay.
So, my mother was like Elizabeth Taylor, right? She's been married like 5 times, and not including the men in between. And so I didn't want to do that. You know what I mean? I didn't want to have so many marriages. And Ben is my first marriage. I got married when I was 40. Yeah.
Nice. How old are you now? I forgot.
I'm not asking that question.
All right.
Did you guys have a big wedding? Did you keep it little?
It was very small. It's like 75 people on a lake in Jersey. There was some farm animals. We pulled that wedding off in 5 months.
Wow.
Yeah. It was great. It was actually Ben's wedding, I want to say, for the record. He partied like a rock star. I was more of the stressor, making sure everything was great. You know what I mean? Like, make sure everybody's having a good time and everybody has what they need. But overall, we are thinking about going to Vegas. I want to renew our vows, and I want to have like Elvis marry me and shit. Yeah, like
That's amazing.
So we're trying to see, maybe the 7th year anniversary or the 10th year anniversary. We'll probably head down there and
Party it up.
Yep, get hitched again.
So we're going to your bachelorette party.
That'll be hot. Yeah, that'll be hot.
Because me and my boyfriend now, we were talking about like if we get married, like having the bachelorette party and bachelor party, because I feel like everybody my age is having kids or already married or anything. And we were talking about bachelorette parties, and we both agree we don't like them. We don't believe in them. I don't know. I just feel like I already live a wild life, so it's like I don't need it. He doesn't need it, and I have trust issues. I feel like I can't deal with it for one.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna do it. We're gonna do one together. We said.
That's how, actually, that's a new thing. People are doing that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. But I suggest you do make a trip with your closest girls, and it doesn't have to be wild. It could be just pampering. You know what I mean? Like a weekend of just
relaxation,
self-care, and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm. The spa, lay on a beach.
Oh yeah, get some body scrubs, align your chakras. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I need to do this. I keep like going to like LA, Miami, like all these crazy places, and I never take care of myself. I swear, after this foot, I'm listening to the names.
No, there is self-care is very necessary. If you can't take care of yourself, then how can you take care of other people? You know what I mean? Yeah, you got to be good before you take everybody else up. Otherwise, it's going to catch up to you, and it's not good, Self-care is mandatory, Sam.
I feel like everybody all these days. Remember, I was telling you, I was like, I'm so stressed. And you're like, why are you stressed? You do this all the time. I just feel like I need something. I feel like my foot was like a sign, like, bitch, calm down.
Slow down.
Yep.
Your body will tell you before anything else will, for sure.
The universe definitely does. It would be like, hold on, I'm going to put this roadblock in your way right now. You're going to have to deal with this because it's going to force you to take a pause.
Yep.
And just to refocus, too, especially when you're, like, so fast-paced and everything. It's really important to just refocus and put all your attention into what needs it at the time.
Yeah.
That's how I felt about the pandemic. I felt like it was a pause in life for everyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whether people learned those lessons and took that in to use it afterwards is a whole different story, because now everybody's just angry.
Right.
I mean, like, come on, did you just have like a moment of peace? You know what I mean? Even though it's rather stressful a little bit, but it's how you spent your time, But it kind of focused on how to reevaluate, things you value in life and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I always said, like, I mean, in the time I was like, oh my God, this sucks. I'm living alone. That's when I was in my apartment. I just by myself and my cat. And I was like, this is so depressing. And then I got out of that like 2 months, like depression state. I was always a little bit in it, but I feel like I grew so much. Every day I would wake up and I'm like, I'm alone. And this is like kind of fun. Like you're just figuring out yourself. Like I was working out every day just by myself, having a cup of coffee, doing so much work in my content, what I do with content. But that's the most money I've made. That's like the most time I was successful and worked on myself. And I feel like people didn't take advantage of that time.
No, they didn't.
They were just like lazy. They weren't doing anything. People are still living off unemployment and everything.
Yeah, which is mind-boggling, by the way. But
it's so scary.
But I think, especially single individuals, right? Because I'm going to speak of my own experience of me. Like when I left New York to Maryland, that was like the most single I was, even though I had Gia. But I got to do a lot of things alone, and that's when I discovered what I liked and what I didn't like, what I wanted, what I didn't want. And when you are comfortable being alone, it could be so addictive, and then it's hard to allow somebody in, So it's trying to find that balance,
Yeah.
But generally, as a person, you should be able to enjoy your own company and not necessarily need somebody else's company,
Yeah.
It's important to find out who you are, too.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're always, surrounded by people, or then people go off to school and they're put in like dorms with each other, or obviously just being around people all the time. So you have to
My last question I wanted to ask you was, since the generations have changed so much, would you want a kid nowadays? Like having a kid right now?
Hell no. No.
I feel like you guys, I don't know, this is just my opinion, but I feel like like my mother's age and your age, you guys had it easier. Don't kick me, but
No,
like this is
I agree.
hard.
I agree. I think the media, everything is so fast, right? I mean, I didn't get my first cell phone. I was like, wait, 21 maybe? That's when I got my first little flip or something. You know what I mean? Like the internet. I think communication is just too fast to absorb. And there's so much of it, that our little babies come out with fucking tablets. You know what I
Right.
mean?
They
Like
do.
they come out the vagina like, I got my iPhone. It's just, I just don't understand. I think it's just so fast paced and all the influences, and it's hard to contain and control. You know what I mean? So, I mean, the good thing is that if you want to learn anything, you can learn it instantly, no matter what it is, whether, arts and crafts or like woodworking, anything. Like you want to learn a different language, it's there. I think we have all the tools, the way we're using it, and then with that generation of them growing, it all depends. The environment is so many factors of raising a child, because it does take a village. If you don't have that village, you're going to have a hard time.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think, no for me. I'm good. I'm done.
Do you want grandkids?
I would love some, but just not yet.
I love your daughter. I love your whole family. You guys are
Thank
amazing.
you. Thank you. We are a cool bunch. We are chill and laid back. What you see is what you got. You know what I mean?
I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, we're going to wrap it up now. This was good timing.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. This
Yeah,
was
of
actually
course.
quite fun.
Yeah,
I know,
And that
right?
shot did help. Thank you very
Good.
much.
You were so nervous, but you're a good talker. This was really good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming. I would plug her socials, but she's a little off the social network.
Yes.
So fuck social media. Needs to go back in time to the flip phones era.
No, not at all.
I would love it. I
Would
would.
you?
Me, yes.
Yes.
My phone is on D&D all the time. Let me close that up.
Yeah.
But you should take a break from time
Yeah.
to time, because it does get consuming a little bit. But
Yeah.
yeah, you should go back to the beeper stage.
Yeah.
I would love that. I would need to learn. I was
Right.
never in that stage.
Right. But
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Of
It
course.
was actually quite fun. Thanks.
make sure you guys comment, share, subscribe, and hit that follow button.
Yes, guys. Until next time.
Bye.